What's happening, people? And once again, welcome back to youtube.com/CubCamTV for this, another edition of the CubCast Daily, our daily news section we are running here on the channel, exploring different news stories, breakdowns, conversations, discussions, lists, charts, all of that good stuff. And I'm very happy to be able to continue to do this here on the channel. First of all, a massive shout out to each and every one of you supporting the channel. If you are new, do make sure you are getting involved by hitting that subscribe button on the right-hand side of the page. We are now gunning for 67,000 subscribers, a number I never thought we'd be anywhere near reaching, but according to you guys, it's something that we could well see because you guys do keep following and keep liking the videos and you keep viewing the videos. I find it absolutely crazy, but I am so thankful for the position we've been able to be put in here on the channel. One of the reasons I love doing these CubCast episodes as well is because it means you guys can get involved in the comments and you can give us your opinions and your kind of ideas with what we're doing, so please do feel free to get involved in that comment section down below. Today, we're going to be getting into quite an interesting topic. Obviously, 2022 was definitely a big year for album releases in the Afrobeat genre. An incredibly high volume of albums were released from the majority of the big names. I think Davido was the only sort of like high flyer name that didn't actually release an album. Mr. Easy didn't drop one, but there's a few other people in this list as well who didn't actually drop one as well. So there's a few names you're going to see who I very much think should be dropping albums this year based on their progress and their kind of positioning within the scene, and also their trajectory. These are people that need to be dropping albums, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. 6 artists that I feel need to drop albums within the Afrobeat genre in 2023. Again, I'm very keen to hear your thoughts on these. We're going to be listing collaborations and reasons why I think these artists need to be getting into those album bags next year. Collaborations within the artists I'd like to see on said projects. And we're going to kick off with number 6. Now, this is an artist who I've got a lot of time for vocally, really creative in what he does. And it is, of course, Peruzzi, an artist that we've loved enjoying, loved reviewing on the channel as well. He's ending the year very strong. Obviously, two big singles in Hypertension and Things I Need. And obviously, Ready was a single he dropped at the start of the year with Aceberg TM. A huge tune, that one produced by, I believe it was Young Willis, and it was a really good way of kind of diving into the versatility that we know that Peruzzi can bring to the table. Very clearly versatile and comfortable in different zones within the Afrobeat genre. Personally, I think the 2021 album was a little bit underwhelming, and it's always important to hit back after somewhat of a, I don't want to say a flop album at all, but definitely an album which didn't hit the heights that it could have. It's always very important to kind of follow that up with a big album project as soon as you can. But one thing I did like about Ramen Boogie was the creativity that we did hear within that as an album project, and that's something I'd like to hear him transfer into the realms of 2023 with his vocal ability, obviously collaborative ability as well. I'd love to see link-ups with maybe a King Promise. Definitely a Boj collaboration would be something I'd like to see, but also I'd like to see a link-up with Victony, an artist that is the king of collaborative kind of vocal drops and things like that, so that could be a really cool one for us to break down and see. So there we go. In number 6 for an album for 2023, I want to see Peruzzi dropping one. Moving into number 5 then, we are going to be looking, of course, at Young John, one of the biggest breakouts of 2022, without a shadow of a doubt. Really good run of releases that we've seen from him. Chocolate City have been fantastic in promoting him, and I've loved watching the trajectory of this guy really explode. A strong breakout year. Obviously, Extra Cool was one of the biggest anthems towards the end of the year. Of course, we also saw a big link-up with Davido as well with the Dada remix. And overall, it was just very impressive to watch the consistency. He had a very strong debut EP, and now it's all about matching that and following it up. The thing that Ashake kind of had last year, which really put him at the top of this list, was the fact that he broke out with a killer EP and also dropped a killer album in the same year, being the first Nigerian artist to actually top the charts with both a debut EP and a debut album in the same year. So now it's up to Young John, basically, to kind of push forward and push into that album zone. For me, I'd like to see a collaboration with Ashake just to kind of show these are two of the new gunners really intertwining their quite unique styles. Also, I'd like to see a link up with Fireboy. I think that would be a really cool one to see. Just Young John kind of pushing his stardom factor out there, because he's definitely got that kind of star appeal, and I think the link up with Fireboy DML could work really nicely in pushing that. And also, they're both very good vocally, so that could be a really cool link up in regards to what they could do with kind of vocal runs and things like that. Moving into number 4 then, an artist coming out of Tanzania, an artist that I very much enjoyed going to the album launch party for. I say album launch party, it was an EP, and that was the first of all EPs, so we are of course talking about the one and only Diamond Platnumz, an artist who we have had the absolute pleasure of interviewing on the channel. He's got a big love for what we do in the UK, and I really, really want to see him push forward this year and drop that big album project. Obviously, we went to the EP launch. It's very varied, but every single track on there has a kind of star factor about it. He always makes catchy bangers. He always has these kind of catchy melodies or flute lines or woodwind elements that just pull your ears in. And I think that'd be a really cool thing to kind of extend into an album format. Definitely someone who has the kind of international side of things on lock. Obviously, as I said, he had a big kind of link up in the UK, a lot of support for him in the UK. I'd like to see him kind of push that collaborative energy into an album space as well. I just want to see more music from him, essentially. He very rarely misses. The link-ups I'd like to see, maybe a link-up with Major League DJs. Obviously, he's very good in that kind of Amapiano zone, so that could be a cool link-up there. Again, Victony, I think they could make a banger together if they were to sit in the studio. And maybe even a UK name would be quite cool to see. Not even necessarily an Afrobeats name, maybe a UK rap name or something like that. It'd just be a cool link-up to see Diamond Platnumz really expanding those international borders, and I know he's got quite a big appreciation for what we do in the UK, so I'd like to see that link up come into fruition. So there we go, he's in number 4 for the artist that I would like to see an album from in 2023. Moving into number 3, again a name we've actually mentioned a lot already today, an artist who had an incredible breakout in 2022 following on from a big single that landed towards the end of 2021. We are of course talking about the one and only Victony, one of the sweetest voices out there right now. Again, a very good debut EP last year, showing a good level of versatility, and obviously singles like Colamento as well. Just this guy has been on fire, basically. He's shown that he's got the juice to really push forward. Obviously appearing on Burna Boy's album as well. Jolene for me was one of the most unique sounding tracks of the year, and I loved how it sounded. Again, a very good debut EP, but we need to see that creativity and versatility of Victony spread out for more than 4 and 5 tracks. I'd like to see him drop a 12, 13 track project, not super long. I'm not talking like a 16, 17, a 12 to 13 track project I think would be perfect for him, because it will give him enough kind of space to be versatile but still carry on with that sort of signature sound that he is developing really well. I'd like to see the return collaboration from Burna. I think that would be a really cool thing for Victony to have on a project. Alongside that, I was thinking maybe someone like a Bayani, like a newer name to kind of emerge, because I think he was in the position last year where he was doing a lot of link-ups with bigger artists, and I think it'd be really cool to see him kind of doing the same for the newcomers that have kind of followed, Bayani being one of them. That'd be a really cool link-up that I would like to see. And I just think in general, he's got album written all over him, so there we go. Moving into number 2 then, an artist that I am so fond of. Whenever I see a new track from him drop, I'm one of the first people to review it every single time. Incredible vocal texture, incredibly unique sound, and it is, of course, l.a.x. Now, for me, Canada was a wicked closer to the year. I loved Canada. I loved how it sounded. I loved the vibe of it. I loved the bounce. And overall, it just had that kind of stardom feel. Leader, again, absolutely solid. One of his big singles last year. But alongside that, the Mona Lisa remix with Chris Brown was undoubtedly one of the biggest tunes of 2022. And there was no album space to follow that up. 2 cold collaborations with Ayra Starr as well. Obviously, the one with the Sound System Boys. And then, of course, the collaboration on her album. It's very clear that he has the ability to be versatile. The variation in collaborative features is there as well, but I want to hear him dive into that electronic side of Afrobeats, like following up from that sort of Lojay and SARS EP that was dropped in 2021. That for me was one of the coldest drops of the year, and I love seeing that more sort of electronic side. I'd like to see another link up with SARS, maybe a link up with Dr. Set, someone that dives into the more creative electronic side of Afrobeats and gives it a different kind of twang. So again, I'd like to see maybe a link up with Ruger. That'd be a cool one to see. Techno, again, someone who's very good at fusing those more traditional elements with electronic elements at the same time. And again, Victony, I think those two would make an absolute banger, but then Victony is the kind of king of collaborations at the moment in my eyes. So there we go. Lojay in number 2. And in number 1, I think this will come as no surprise to anyone that follows this genre, this sound. The only thing holding her back at the moment for me is a lack of new content, and she is still an absolute superstar, dominating the Billboard charts based off tracks that weren't even released in 2022. Crazy stuff. Thames. I think it's time for a Thames album. Obviously, she's dropped bigger projects in the past, but I think it's time for that star factor album, the big album, the one that's going to kind of literally solidify her place on a global stage. Obviously, we've seen two longer EPs, no full-length projects, one 5-track and one 7-track. I want to see a full album. I want to see a 14, 15-track project. I want to see her diving into R&B, into maybe even some more sort of hip-hop sort of styles. Obviously, maintaining that more sort of acoustic Afrobeats element that she has very much at the heart of what she does. But even with this, her catalogue has dominated global music more than anything else. She is one of the most beloved artists on the global stage, and I think that iconography that she's been able to establish without dropping an album is incredible. Now, I don't want it to become a point where she waits too long and doesn't drop the full album. I think this is the year she needs to do it. Link-up wise, we're all kind of crying out for that link-up with Ayra Starr. I think it's something that everyone would like to see. They're both incredibly good at what they do, but represent sort of different areas of the sound. Obviously, Ayra diving a lot more into, I feel, the electronic stuff, and I feel with Thames, she's a lot more focused, obviously, on the more acoustic side. It'd be cool to see what they would do on a link-up level. Obviously, Burna Boy is a collab that we've been kind of waiting to see, and alongside that, of course, we want to see the Rihanna link-up, man. That's the kind of, you know, when we talk a lot on this channel about big industry kind of collaborations coming into Afrobeats as a genre, Rihanna's the one that I'm most excited to see, and I think Thames will be the artist to pull Rihanna in. They've linked up already on the Black Panther soundtrack, and of course, that was Rihanna's kind of big return. It shows she's back into a music-making mode. I'd love to see her link up with Thames, as she was obviously one of the lead writers on that. Obviously, Thames had the Black Panther appearance herself as well, so that's definitely something we could see being pushed forward, but there we go. I think 2023 is the year we get that iconic Thames album, and it's something we need. I think it is definitely something we need, so there we go. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. I'm very keen to hear what artists you would like to see appearing with albums this year. We're going to probably see another Burna Boy album. He tends to drop them every sort of 18 months, so I think we'll just about see one maybe towards the end of the year. We're probably going to see a Davido album this year as well, and we're just going to see a continuous run. I think the genre is getting to a point now where the content needs to be continuous, but the quality level can't drop, so it should be a very, very positive year for full body releases. So there we go. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, do make sure you're getting involved by hitting that subscribe button on the right hand side of the page, turning notifications on, of course, leaving a like, leaving a comment, and all of that good stuff. And we shall see you all next time. Peace.
Sounding so good right now. But they're sounding a bright and town.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, CubCast TV. Stay locked.